Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the corporate world. Today we're diving into a filing from VOLITIONRX LTD. It's about registering some shares, which might sound dry, but stick around because we'll uncover why this seemingly simple move could actually be quite interesting for the company and its investors. So what's this all about? Basically, VOLITIONRX needed to register some shares. To register means to declare to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, that you are about to sell shares in the company. Think of it like getting a permit before you build something. They're doing this through what's called a Form 8K, which is a report companies file to announce important events. This report is to notify people about shares that are getting registered so people can keep up with their investments. The key date here is April 4, 2025. This is the date of the event being reported and also when the report was filed. VOLITIONRX LTD, that's the company we're talking about. They're based in Henderson, Nevada, and their main office is on West Warm Springs Road. It sounds like a nice place. Here's some background. VOLITIONRX's file number is 001-36833. Think of it like a social security number, but for a company. The company has common stock with a tiny par value, just 0.011 per share. The trading symbol is VNRX and it is listed on the NYSE American LLC exchange. Now, let's talk about what's actually going on. VOLITIONRX filed a registration statement to register some shares of their common stock. Specifically, they're talking about 35,867,367, 306 shares. That's a lot of shares. These shares are being registered because they're tied to something called warrants. Warrants are like coupons that give the holder the right to buy shares at a certain price. These warrants were issued earlier. The company had already registered these shares once before through a different registration form. The shares were first registered under something called a shelf registration statement, originally filed in September of 2021. This is like having a pre-approved permission slip to issue shares over time. Now here's the crucial part. VOLITIONRX isn't actually issuing new shares beyond what they already had registered before. They're just moving the registration from the old shelf to this new one. It's like transferring something from one folder to another on your computer. The important part is that the total number of shares available to the public is not changing. And so what does all this mean? Let's break it down. Why the re-registration? Companies re-register shares for a few reasons. Maybe the old registration is expiring or perhaps they want to update the information. It could also be related to changes in regulations or company strategy. Without more information, it's tough to say the exact reason here. Impact on investors. For current investors, this re-registration shouldn't be a major concern. The total number of shares available to the public isn't changing, so it shouldn't immediately dilute the value of existing shares. However, investors should keep an eye on when and if those warrants are exercised, as that will increase the number of shares outstanding. Dilution means that your slice of the pie gets smaller. What to watch for? The key thing to watch is how VOLITIONRX plans to use these shares. Will they be used for acquisitions, raising capital, or employee compensation? The answer to that question will tell you a lot about the company's future direction. VOLITIONRX specializes in diagnostic tests, particularly on the area of cancer detection. They're trying to develop and commercialize blood tests that can detect cancer early, which could be a game changer. This focus on early detection is a major growth area in the healthcare industry. Strengths. VOLITIONRX's technology has the potential to disrupt the cancer diagnostics market, and they've secured patents to protect their innovations. Early cancer detection is a major unmet need, so if they can deliver accurate and reliable tests, they could see significant growth. Weaknesses. As a relatively small company, VOLITIONRX faces competition from larger, more established players in the diagnostics industry. They also need to navigate a complex regulatory landscape to get their products approved and reimbursed by insurance companies. Risks. The biggest risk is that their diagnostic tests may not prove to be as accurate or reliable as they hope. They also face the risk of running out of funding before they can commercialize their products. Opportunities. The potential market for early cancer detection is huge, and VOLITIONRX has the opportunity to become a major player in this field. They could also partner with larger companies to expand their reach and accelerate commercialization. Overall, VOLITIONRX is an interesting company with a promising technology, but it's also a risky investment. The re-registration of these shares is a relatively minor event, but it's a good reminder to keep an eye on the company's progress and how they're managing their capital. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, like and comment.